I'm actually a pretty big fan of how these limited 18s from my 4Runner fit on the Tacoma. They actually fit a lot more aggressive than Tacoma wheels do. You can see the offset is actually pretty good for a factory wheel. I'm not running any spacers or anything on these either. But there are a few things going against these wheels, specifically on this truck. Firstly, they've got the typical bubbling clear coat on them, on the paint. They're not in the greatest shape, and I'm not going to bother refinishing them, not yet at least. The other issue is that these are an 18-inch wheel, and so this is more of like a sport truck kind of a look. Not quite my thing. I mean, I think the design really suits the look of the Tacoma, like the spoke design, but me personally, I prefer like a smaller wheel with a taller sidewall on the tire. That's just a personal preference, but I like something a little bit beefier. And then the other thing is just, these tires are getting pretty old. These are the original tires from the 4Runner. They got decent tread on them, a lot better than the bald all seasons that were on this truck. But for the winter time, we're going to want something a little bit more beefy, with a little bit more grip on it. And so the fine folks at Canadian Tire were once again kind enough to reach out to me, and this time they want me to test out a set of tires. If you didn't see my last video with them, I polished the whole Tacoma using just Simonized Platinum products that you can get over the counter at Canadian Tire. I'll link that down in the description. But today, we're putting these guys on. Now, this is the new Motomaster X-Trail A tire. And they've got another version of this one. It's been out for a while. It's a less aggressive one. And the biggest difference here is that these are supposed to be much better in winter conditions, in snow and ice. And so we also got them mounted on a set of NV ET2 wheels, just to complete the look. So now I've officially dropped back down to a 16-inch wheel, which is what the Tacoma came with originally. And I like a 16 on a Tacoma better than a big 18. As you can see, we got a much beefier sidewall on the tire here. Tread design looks good. Lots of siping, which means this is going to be pretty good in the wintertime. That's, if you are familiar with my Duratracs that I have on my 4Runner, I'm a big believer in those and how they're the best off-road tire in the winter conditions. And I got a feeling these are going to give them a run for their money. So it just seemed fitting to put these on the Tacoma instead of replacing the ones in the 4Runner, so we can kind of drive these two trucks back to back, maybe even in the same snowstorm. That'd be pretty cool. Similar trucks, similar tire. Let's see how these perform. And before you start questioning the quality of the Motomaster brand, if you're not familiar, for you Americans, Motomaster is like Canadian Tire's in-house brand of parts. And so these are sold under the Motomaster name, but from what I'm told, they're actually made by Cooper. So this is easily considered a brand name tire. They look like they're really good quality just from visual appearance so far. So now, as far as tire size goes, the Tacoma isn't lifted or anything yet. I'm still debating whether I'm going to put like a leveling kit in it on the front end or something. Again, I'm not sure how long we're going to keep it for, if I'm going to bother spending money on it or not. You guys can let me know in the comments if you want to see this thing get a lift kit or something. But so the stock tires, well, I guess the stock 4Runner tires that are on this, these are 265/65 18s. So this is a much bigger size than the Tacoma came with from the factory. And these clear perfectly fine, no rubbing at all. Now, these guys, again, we dropped down to a 16-inch wheel. These are 265/75 16. So these are going to work out to be, I checked the tire size calculator, I think it's about 3.5% bigger, which isn't a whole lot, but they are definitely bigger. Same width though, and because I liked the way that the 265 width looked on this truck, and the thing is, between this and the 4Runner with the big 285s on it, I want to keep one of these at least somewhat fuel efficient. So we're going a little bit narrower and a little bit shorter on these ones. Again, this is a V6, the 4Runner's got a bigger V8 in it, so it just seems fitting. So I'm going to mount these up, and first of all, let's see if they clear, and then eventually we'll do a full review on these later on down the road. Alright, so we got the first one on. So far so good. We got plenty of clearance on the brake caliper here. Lots of clearance actually. And it seems like we'll be pretty good. If anything, I think our biggest chance of rubbing is going to be right here. Up front, got lots of space up here. But we'll get them on and go for a drive and just see where we rub. Offset wise, they look pretty good. I can't remember what the exact specs on these were. I think it's a +5 offset. I'll double check and I'll put them in the video here somewhere. But they sit pretty flush with the fender. I'm quite happy with that actually. Yeah, I think it looks good. Now I don't have the center cap on yet, and I'm going to throw them on the rest of the truck first and just see how I feel about the center caps. I kind of like the way they look without them, but I don't like leaving this unprotected as far as the wintertime. That hub is going to get rusty pretty quick, so I'll try putting them on and see what I think about them. But anyways, let's get them on the rest of the truck here first. Alright guys, here's how she's looking. And they fit great so far. No rubbing, as you can see. We got plenty of clearance here, and then also on the back side there hasn't been any problems back there either. The rears are looking good here too. Of course no clearance issues back here ever, but still. Again, the offsets are looking good. These fit the truck quite nicely, I think. Fairly flush with the fenders. So yeah, I'm happy. Again, you can see here, plenty of clearance. So remember, these are 265, 75, 16s, and this is a completely stock Tacoma. No lift kit, stock suspension, stock height. And they fit well.